You're not going to believe what happened in this courtroom. But first, smash that like button, because this story is about to blow your mind. So picture this. It's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Judge Keanu Reeves, yes, the Keanu Reeves, walks into his courtroom wearing his signature black suit. But something's different today. His usual zen-like calm, gone. His eyes are focused, almost dangerous. The case, VitaMax Corporation, versus 37 families whose children got sick from contaminated baby formula. The stakes, $50 million in damages. The twist, VitaMax's lawyer is Richard Sterling, a man so ruthless he once made a grieving widow apologize for wasting the court's time. But here's where it gets insane. Sterling struts into the courtroom like he owns it. Designer suit, gold watch that costs more than most people's cars, and that smirk. You know the one, the kind that says I've never lost a case and I'm not starting today. He doesn't even look at the families sitting in the gallery. These parents who've been fighting for justice for 2 years. Some holding photos of their sick children, others clutching medical bills they can't afford. Sterling just opens his briefcase, pulls out a stack of papers thick enough to choke a horse, and slams it on the defendant's table. The sound echoes through the silent courtroom like a gunshot. Judge Keanu doesn't flinch. He just watches, calculating. Your Honor, Sterling begins, his voice dripping with fake respect. My client VitaMax Corporation is the victim here. These families are trying to exploit a minor manufacturing hiccup for financial gain. A minor hiccup. 37 babies in the hospital is a minor hiccup. But wait, it gets worse. Sterling continues. Furthermore, we have evidence that these families deliberately fed their children expired formula to manufacture this crisis. The courtroom erupts. Parents start shouting. One mother breaks down crying. Security moves forward, but Judge Keanu raises one hand. Just one. And the room falls silent. That's when you see it. The change in his expression. The way his jaw tightens. For a split second you're not looking at the beloved actor known for his kindness. You're looking at someone who's about to unleash something Sterling never saw coming. Mr. Sterling, Judge Keanu says, his voice deadly quiet. Before we proceed, I have a question about your client's documentation. Sterling waves dismissively. Of course, Your Honor. I have 37 volumes of evidence proving VitaMax's innocence. 37 volumes, Judge Keanu repeats slowly. Impressive. Tell me, how long did it take your team to prepare this defense? 6 months of rigorous preparation, Your Honor. We leave nothing to chance. The families exchange worried glances. 6 months of preparation by the best lawyers money can buy versus their overworked public defender. This is David versus Goliath. Except David forgot his slingshot. But Judge Keanu isn't done. He picks up a single sheet of paper from his desk. Just one page. Mr. Sterling, in all your rigorous preparation, did you happen to review this document? Sterling squints at the paper, his confidence wavering for the first time. I'm not sure what document you're referring to, Your Honor. It's a memo from VitaMax's own quality control department, dated 3 weeks before the first reported illness. Would you like me to read it aloud? The color drains from Sterling's face. His expensive pen starts trembling in his hand. The memo states, and I quote, contamination detected in formula batch 2847C. Recommend immediate recall. Risk of infant hospitalization extremely high if distributed. The courtroom is so quiet you could hear a pin drop in the next county. Sterling's mouth opens and closes like a fish gasping for air. Your Honor, that document was, we never received. Oh, but you did receive it, Mr. Sterling, because your law firm was copied on this memo. Your paralegal Jennifer Morrison signed for it. Should I call her to the stand? And that's when Sterling's entire world starts crumbling faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. Judge Keanu continues, his voice getting stronger. Furthermore, Mr. Sterling, while you spent 6 months crafting your elaborate defense, did you know that VitaMax continued shipping this contaminated formula for 4 more weeks after receiving this memo? Sterling tries to speak, but no words come out. His billion-dollar defense is imploding in real time. And here's my favorite part. Judge Keanu says, standing up now, his presence commanding the entire room. Mr. Sterling, you mentioned these families were trying to exploit a minor manufacturing hiccup. But according to VitaMax's internal emails, which by the way, they were legally required to turn over but somehow forgot, the CEO called this situation, and I quote, a potential company-ending catastrophe that could result in multiple infant deaths. The gasps from the gallery are audible. Parents are crying, not from despair this time, from relief. Someone finally believes them. Sterling is frantically shuffling through his papers, sweat beading on his forehead, his perfect composure completely shattered. But wait, there's more, Judge Keanu says, and you can almost hear the YouTube shorts energy building. Mr. Sterling, you accuse these families of deliberately poisoning their own children. That's a serious allegation. I hope you have evidence to support it. Well, Your Honor, that is to say, because if you don't have evidence that would constitute defamation of character, harassment of victims and quite possibly perjury. Are you prepared to face those charges, Mr. Sterling? And then comes the moment that breaks the internet. Sterling, this man who has terrorized courtrooms for decades, who has crushed families under the weight of endless legal procedures, who charges $2,000 an hour to destroy people's lives. Sterling looks at Judge Keanu and whispers, "I need to speak with my client." "Oh, you'll have plenty of time for that," Judge Keanu replies. "Right after I hold VitaMax Corporation liable for $50 million in damages, plus punitive damages for willful negligence, plus legal fees, plus a mandatory recall of all products from the contaminated production line." The courtroom explodes in cheers. Parents are hugging each other. The public defender looks like he just won the lottery. And Sterling is packing his briefcase with shaking hands, his reputation in ruins. But Judge Keanu isn't finished. "Mr. Sterling, before you leave my courtroom, I want you to look at these families. Really look at them. These are the people you accused of poisoning their own children for money. These parents who sold their cars, mortgaged their homes, and fought for 2 years just to get someone to listen." Sterling slowly turns toward the gallery. For the first time he sees the faces behind the case numbers. The exhausted mother holding a photo of her twins. The father who hasn't slept properly since his daughter's hospitalization. The grandmother counting pills for her grandson's ongoing treatment. "Your Honor," Sterling says quietly, "I apologize." "Don't apologize to me," Judge Keanu replies. "Apologize to them." And in that moment, something incredible happens. Sterling, this corporate shark, who makes millions defending the indefensible, walks over to the families and does something he's never done in 30 years of practice. He apologizes, genuinely, with tears in his eyes. "I'm sorry," he says to each family. "I'm so sorry." 6 months later, Sterling quits corporate law and starts representing victims of corporate negligence. VitaMax pays the largest settlement in food safety history. And those 37 families, their children get the medical care they need, and they never have to worry about legal bills again. But here's the real kicker. The document that destroyed Sterling's case. Judge Keanu didn't find it through some elaborate legal investigation. A VitaMax whistleblower walked into his chambers the night before the trial and handed it to him. Someone inside the company who couldn't live with the cover-up anymore. Justice isn't always about having the best lawyers or the most money. Sometimes it's about having someone in power who refuses to let bullies win. Someone who remembers that behind every case number is a human being deserving of dignity and truth. That's the story of how Judge Keanu Reeves took down one of the most powerful corporate lawyers in the country with a single question, and reminded us all why we believe in heroes.